Evan Hale walked into the giant scrapyard with a mix of excitement and nervousness. He had saved money for years to buy his first spaceship, and today was finally the day. The ship he chose was old, dusty, and shaped like a giant metal whale. Most aliens avoided it because it looked too damaged, but Evan saw something else. He saw potential. The seller warned him that the ship had a strange history, but Evan did not care. He wanted a ship he could fix with his own hands. He walked up the ramp, feeling proud and ready for adventure. But the moment he stepped inside, he froze. Something felt wrong. The lights were dim, the air was warm, and there was a strange smell, like plants mixed with metal. He slowly moved forward and turned on his flashlight. That was when he heard it, a deep, rumbling voice behind him. "Who are you?" Evan spun around so fast, he almost dropped the light. Standing in the hallway was a giant alien woman, at least 9 feet tall. Her skin was dark blue, her eyes bright silver, and her muscles looked like they were carved from stone. She stared at him with clear suspicion. Before he could answer, 2 more giant women stepped out of the shadows. One had soft green skin and long hair that moved like vines. The other had orange armor-like plates on her arms and legs. Evan wanted to run, but his legs refused to move. He raised his hand slowly. I'm Evan. I just bought this ship." The blue one frowned. "Bought? This ship?" "Yes," Evan said, voice shaking. "I have the documents. I paid for it." The 3 giants looked at each other with wide, shocked eyes. Then the orange one laughed loudly, shaking the entire hallway. "Impossible. You claim the vessel of 3? A tiny human?" The green one tilted her head and studied him closely. "He is small, but he does not look weak." Evan felt his heart pounding. "Look, I didn't know anyone was living here. I just wanted a ship. I didn't mean to intrude." The blue one stepped closer, making the floor vibrate. She looked down at him like a mountain looking at a pebble. "Human, do you understand what you've done? By claiming this ship, you accept us as well." Evan blinked. "What? No, I didn't accept anything. I only bought the ship, that's all." The 3 giants exchanged confused expressions. Then the green one spoke softly. "In our cultures, the ship's owner takes responsibility for everyone living on it. This responsibility includes food, protection, and life decisions." The orange one crossed her arms. "And in some traditions, this also means you are rebonded with us." She smirked. "You are going to marry us." Evan almost fainted. "What? No. There must be a mistake." The blue one nodded calmly. "This is the law of our worlds. Ownership means unity. Unity means bonding. Bonding means marriage." Evan shook his head so fast his hair flew everywhere. "Humans don't do that. I just wanted a ship to explore space, not marry 3 giant alien women." The green one stepped forward, her voice gentle but firm. "Still, you hold the title. The law binds us through the ship, whether you accept it or not. The galaxy will see you as our bonded partner." Evan felt dizzy. His dream of owning a ship had suddenly turned into a nightmare. But he forced himself to breathe and think. Running away would not help. These women were huge, strong, and clearly believed in their traditions. He needed to talk, not panic. "Okay," he said slowly. "Maybe we can work this out? Maybe we can explain everything and undo this." The orange one laughed again. "Undo? Human! You cannot undo an old law. But you are interesting. Very interesting." The blue one lowered herself to his height, crouching so their eyes met. "Tell us, Evan Hale, why do you want this ship?" Evan swallowed. "Because I want freedom. I want to travel. I want to build something with my own hands. I've worked hard for this." The 3 women grew quiet. Something changed in their expressions. The green one looked almost impressed. The orange one raised an eyebrow. The blue one stood tall again and said, "You speak with honest fire. That is rare." Evan was confused, but he stayed focused. "Please just let me stay on the ship until we talk this through. I don't want trouble." The giants turned their backs and whispered to one another. Their voices were like thunder from far away. After a long minute, they faced him again. "You may stay," the blue one said. "But Understand this, human. Your choice has connected our lives. You will learn why we are here. The orange one grinned. And you will learn why we said you're going to marry us. Evan sighed deeply. His adventure had officially begun, but not at all in the way he expected. And somewhere inside the old ship, something else stirred. Something that hinted this strange meeting was only the beginning. Evan woke up the next morning, inside a ship that no longer felt like his. The bed was too big. The walls felt alive with strange energy, and he could hear heavy footsteps echoing faintly through the corridors. He sat up and rubbed his eyes, afraid the 3 giant alien women might be watching him. They weren't. For now, he stepped out of his room and walked carefully through the hallway. Everything inside the ship looked advanced but worn, like it had once been powerful but was slowly dying. The lights flickered, and some doors did not open until he pushed them hard. When he reached the main chamber, he found the 3 giant women sitting around a glowing table. They turned to look at him the moment he entered. The orange one grinned widely, the green one smiled gently, and the blue one nodded in greeting. "You are awake," the blue one said. "Good. We must speak." Evan walked closer, but kept a safe distance. "Yesterday was a lot. I still don't understand why any of this is happening. And I definitely don't understand why you said you need me." The orange woman leaned forward. "Because it is true. The ship chose you." Evan frowned. "I bought it. With money." "Yes," the green woman said softly. "But the ship accepts owners only when it senses something inside them. Something strong. Something rare." Evan laughed nervously. "Well, it must be broken." The green woman shook her head. "It is not broken." The blue woman stood up easily, towering over him like a moving mountain. "We will explain," she said. "Come." She led him to the center of the room, where the glowing table shifted into a holographic map of the ship. It showed many areas marked in red. "This vessel," the blue woman said, "was once the home of warriors from our 3 tribes. They joined together to protect the galaxy from danger. But long ago, the ship was damaged, and the tribes were broken apart." The orange woman crossed her arms. "We stayed behind to guard what was left. And now we are the last ones." Evan looked at the map, confused. "Okay, but what does that have to do with me?" The green woman touched the map. Her fingers made the red areas slowly pulse. "Because this ship is dying. It needs an engineer. It needs someone who can fix things with calm hands and a determined mind." Evan blinked. "Me? But I'm just normal. I fix small ships and machines. I'm not a hero." The blue woman shook her head. "The ship disagrees." The orange woman smirked. "And we disagree too." Evan felt heat rise to his face. "Look, I don't know what you expect from me, but I can't save a giant ancient alien ship." But the blue woman stepped forward and gently placed something in his hand. It was a small metal square with strange symbols on it. The moment it touched his skin, the symbols glowed bright white. Evan nearly dropped it. "What is this?" "The key," the blue woman said. "The ship accepted you. If we try to use it, nothing happens. But you activate the systems." Evan stared at the glowing object in shock. He had never felt so confused in his life. "I didn't ask for this." "But you were chosen," the green woman said softly. "And we need you." Evan looked up. "Why? Why do you really need me?" The 3 giants exchanged a heavy glance. Finally, the orange woman sighed and spoke first, something Evan had not expected: honesty. "Because we cannot leave this ship. If it dies, we die with it." The room grew colder. The green woman continued. "Our life force is tied to the vessel. It was a bond made long ago. Only a true new owner can free us or save us." The blue woman looked directly into Evan's eyes, her voice deep and steady. "We are powerful, strong, trained warriors. But even with all our strength, we cannot fix the heart of this ship. Only you can touch the core. Only you can restart it." Evan felt the world tilt slightly. "So you're stuck here?" "Yes," the 3 said together. "And you think I can save you?" "We believe you can," said the green woman. The blue one stepped closer, and knelt so she was not towering above him. "Evan Hale, We did not tell you yesterday because you were frightened, but we need you to understand now. We do not want to force you. We want you to choose." The orange woman added, "You are small, but we saw something in you, a stubborn spirit, a brave heart, a person who doesn't give up." Evan took a deep breath. The weight of what they were asking felt enormous, but he also saw something in their eyes: fear, hope, desperation. He looked down at the glowing key again. Somehow it felt warm, alive. "Okay," he said slowly. "I'll try. I don't know how much I can do, but I'll help." The three giant women straightened with relief, almost glowing with gratitude. "Then we stand with you," the blue woman said. "Until the ship rises again," the green woman whispered. "Or until the galaxy learns what a human can really do," the orange woman grinned. Evan felt nervous, overwhelmed, and strangely proud. For the first time, he understood why they needed him. And somewhere deep inside the ship, a sleeping engine hummed softly, like it had been waiting for this moment. Evan sat at the long metallic table, feeling very small compared to the three giant alien women sitting across from him. They were each almost 3 times his height, their shadows stretching across the room like moving mountains. The blue one sat calmly with her hands folded. The green one watched him with gentle eyes. The orange one looked impatient, tapping her huge fingers on the table. They wanted a deal, and he had no idea what kind of deal giants could possibly want from someone like him. The blue woman began speaking in her deep, steady voice. "You agreed to help us save the ship. But before we begin, we must create a pact, a clear bond between you and us." Evan raised an eyebrow. "A pact?" The orange woman smirked. "Yes, we do not want you to run away the moment things get hard." Evan crossed his arms. "I'm not planning to run." The green woman leaned forward, her voice soft but serious. "This ship is old and dangerous. It will test you. And if the ship senses fear, doubt, or betrayal, it may shut its systems again. And if that happens, we cannot survive." Evan swallowed hard. "Okay, so what exactly is this deal?" The blue woman stood and activated the glowing table again. Symbols appeared, strange shapes, circles, and lines forming what looked like a contract written in light. "This is an agreement," she said. "Between us and you, we promise protection, guidance, strength. In return, you promise honesty, commitment, and effort." Evan blinked. "Wait, this sounds like some kind of oath." "It is," the green woman admitted, "but not the scary kind. Just a promise. A real one." The orange woman grinned. "Think of it like a team contract, except the team is enormous and powerful and can smash walls." "That's not helping," Evan muttered. The blue woman placed her huge hand on the table, and the glowing symbols shifted. "If you agree, the ship will open deeper areas to you. The engine rooms, the core chambers, secrets it has kept shut for centuries." Evan stared at the symbols. "And if I don't agree?" The green woman answered quietly. "Then we remain trapped, and the ship will slowly die." The weight of her words filled the room. Evan looked from one giant woman to the next. He saw no lies in their faces, only fear, hope, trust, and something else he couldn't define. He took a deep breath. "All right, what do I have to do?" The orange woman clapped her hands happily, the sound echoing like thunder. The blue woman smiled slightly. "Place your hand on the center of the table." Evan hesitated, then slowly reached forward and pressed his hand onto the glowing circle. The table reacted instantly. Lines of light shot out, forming delicate patterns around his fingers. The ship hummed, like it sensed his presence. The lights flickered overhead. The ground vibrated gently, almost as if the ship were taking a deep breath. Then the three giant women each placed one hand around the circle, creating a massive triangle around him. Their hands did not touch his, but they were close enough for him to feel their warmth. The blue woman spoke first. "I vow to protect you." The green one added, "I vow to guide you." The orange one said, slower than usual, "And I vow to fight for you." Evan felt his chest tighten. No one had ever vowed anything like that to him before. Now it was his turn. He cleared his throat. I I vow to help you save the ship. The table glowed brighter. I vow, he continued, to stay honest, to do my best, and to not run away when things get hard. The ship hummed again, louder this time. Lights rippled along the walls like waves. The symbols on the table spun around his hand and wrapped around his wrist like a soft bracelet of white light before disappearing into his skin. Evan gasped. What was that? A mark of agreement, the blue woman said calmly. It shows the ship you are part of it now. The orange woman grinned. Now the ship will listen to you. Fully. The green woman stood and gently bowed her head. The deal is complete. Evan stared at his wrist, where the light had vanished but left a faint warm feeling. He had signed a pact with 3 giant alien warriors. It was strange and unbelievable, but also oddly comforting. So, he said, trying to steady his voice, what happens now? All 3 giant women looked at each other. Then the blue woman answered, Now the hard work begins. The green woman added, We will show you the engine chambers. And the orange woman cracked her knuckles and smiled. And you better keep up, because these halls are big, and you are very, very small. Evan sighed and followed them, feeling the ship slowly awaken beneath his feet. The deal was made, and his life was about to change even more. Evan stood in the command hall of the ancient ship, feeling like he was standing inside the heart of a giant beast. The ship was awake now, awake because of him. Lights pulsed along the walls, and old systems hummed with new purpose. The 3 giant alien women stood behind him, their eyes fixed on the huge star map floating in the air. The enemy fleet was spreading across the galaxy. Colony after colony was falling. Entire planets were begging for help, and everyone believed the giants were either extinct or too weak to fight. But now, things were different. The blue giant woman spoke first. The galaxy does not trust us, and it does not trust humans either. If we attack alone, we will fail. The green woman nodded. We need allies. Many, strong ones. The orange woman crossed her arms. But nobody listens to us anymore. They think we are dangerous, wild, uncontrolled. Evan stared at the glowing map. He could see lines showing where the enemy ships would move next. He could see planets that would fall within days. He took a slow breath. Then we make them listen. The orange woman raised an eyebrow. How? You are small. We are hated, and the galaxy is afraid. Evan stepped closer to the map. Not everyone is afraid. Some people are desperate. Some are angry. Some want hope. We give it to them. The blue woman leaned down toward him. Explain. Evan pointed at several planets. We show them what the enemy is really doing. Not just battles, not just destroyed cities, but the truth, the full truth. The green woman looked confused. And how does that help? Because, Evan said, when people see the truth, they choose a side, and they choose fast. The orange woman smiled, still not seeing how this turns a galaxy. Evan turned to them. We have the ship, the strongest ship ever built, and it can broadcast across half the galaxy. The giants looked at one another. The green woman spoke slowly. You want to send a message? No, Evan said. I want to send a story. The blue woman frowned. A story? Humans understand stories. Evan said, so do aliens. Stories change hearts. Stories create anger and hope and unity. The orange woman grinned. All right, small one, what is this story? Evan pointed at the 3 of them. The story of 3 giant warriors who were betrayed by their own people. He pointed at himself. A human who found them when no one else would. He tapped the map. And a galaxy that can still fight if it fights together. The green woman blinked in surprise. You want to make us symbols? Evan shrugged. You already are. The blue woman's eyes softened. And you? What will you be in this story? Evan smiled a little. The one who tells it. The ship seemed to hear his words. Screens turned on. Lights shifted. Engines hummed. The ship wanted to speak again, loudly. The giant stepped back as Evan climbed onto the main platform. The ship projected his face across dozens of systems. Planets, outposts, star stations. Anyone with a screen could suddenly see him. Evan swallowed. Okay. No pressure, the blue woman whispered. Speak from the heart. So he did. People of the galaxy, Evan began. You don't know me. I'm just a human. A janitor who bought an old ship. And that ship changed everything. He told them about finding the giants, helping them, learning the truth, seeing what the enemy was doing. He showed video from the ship, evidence nobody had ever seen. He spoke with simple words, clear words, words anyone could understand. He ended with, you are not weak, you are not alone, and you do not have to surrender. If 3 giants and 1 human can stand up, then whole planets can too. Across the command hall, the giants watched him silently. The ship sent a message far and wide. Millions saw it, billions maybe, and soon replies began to appear across the star map. Lights flashed across dozens of systems. Green, willing to resist. Blue, ready to fight. Gold, seeking alliance. The blue giant woman covered her mouth in shock. It is working. The green one whispered, they are choosing us. The orange one thumped her chest proudly. Finally, the galaxy wakes up. Evan exhaled, tired but relieved. We're not alone anymore. Then the star map changed again. Hundreds, no, thousands of ships sent a signal. Not of alliance, not of fear, but of anger. The galaxy was turning, not against the giants, not against humans, but against their common enemy. The blue woman knelt beside Evan. You have done what no warrior could. The green woman smiled warmly. You gave the galaxy a voice. The orange woman placed her huge hand gently on his shoulder. Now we fight together. Evan looked at the glowing map, now filled with hope instead of darkness. The galaxy was waking, and the enemy had no idea what was coming. Evan stood on the wide balcony of the ancient ship, watching the stars fade from night to morning. The galaxy was still dangerous, still full of enemies, but it no longer felt hopeless. Not anymore. The alliance he helped create was growing every day. Messages came in from planets he would never visit, from people he would never meet, all saying the same thing. We stand with you. He still found that strange. He was just a human who wanted a quiet life, not someone who wanted to lead a galaxy. But life had changed, and now he stood beside 3 giant alien women who trusted him more than they trusted anyone from their own worlds. The ship doors opened behind him, and the blue giant woman walked out. Her steps were slow and careful, because she knew Evan was small and fragile. She sat down beside him, her massive form blocking half the rising light. You are awake early again, she said softly. Evan shrugged. Couldn't sleep? She tilted her head. Are you worried? A little, he admitted. There's still a war out there. But you helped us gain allies, she said. You helped us gain hope. He smiled faintly. I guess we all helped each other. Soon the green woman joined them, holding what looked like a huge tray of breakfast. She placed a smaller plate, human-sized, next to Evan. She always remembered to make a separate portion for him. That small care made him feel warm inside. You must eat, she said. Today will be busy. Evan took a piece of fruit and nodded. Meetings, right? Many, she said, but you speak well. You calm people. Sometimes, he said, laughing quietly. Then the orange woman arrived last, stretching her arms like someone who had just woken from a long sleep. She sat down on Evan's other side, making the balcony floor shake. There you are, little hero, she said with a grin. We were looking for you. Evan raised an eyebrow. All 3 of you? Yes, the orange woman said. We have something to tell you. He straightened, suddenly nervous. Something good or bad? The blue woman looked at the other 2 and then at him. Good, we hope, but it may surprise you. Evan felt his heart beat faster. All right, what is it? The green woman leaned closer. We want you to stay with us. Evan blinked. Stay? On the ship? No, the blue woman said. Stay with us. In our lives. Not just as a helper or a voice for the galaxy. The orange woman nodded. You stand with us. You protect us. You guide us. We do the same for you. So we want something more. Evan swallowed. More. The blue woman spoke gently. A family. Evan stared at them, stunned. Not scared, just surprised. These three huge warriors, who once scared entire armies, who once had no place in the galaxy, now sat beside him with hope in their eyes. The green woman placed her enormous hand on her chest. We lost our own families long ago. We lost our people too. But with you, we feel something different. The orange woman nodded firmly. We feel strong again, not as warriors, but as people. You gave us that. Evan didn't know what to say. He had never thought about family in this strange place among the stars. But he remembered how lonely he felt before, how empty his life had been, how quiet the galaxy seemed. And he remembered how these three had stood behind him when no one else would. He took a slow breath. So, you want me to be part of your family? The blue woman smiled softly. If you want, we will not force you. Evan thought for a long moment, looking at the sunrise spreading over the ship's hull. The sky was wide. The future was unknown. But he didn't feel afraid anymore. Not with them. He finally nodded. Yes, I want that. The three giants looked at one another with bright eyes. Even the orange woman, usually loud and strong, seemed moved. The green woman whispered, Then it is decided. Suddenly the orange woman lifted Evan, gently but with great joy, into the air. He yelped in surprise as she spun him once. Welcome to the family, small one. The blue woman laughed softly. The green woman wiped a tear from her cheek. Evan just laughed, not scared at all, because their hands were steady and warm. When she set him down again, Evan looked at all three of them and said, We're going to make this galaxy better. Together. The blue woman nodded firmly. Together. The ship hummed around them, as if approving. Screens lit up with new alliance messages. The galaxy was moving, changing, fighting back. And at the center of it stood a strange family. One human, three giant alien women, and an ancient ship older than any of them. They were no longer alone. They were something new, something stronger than fear, stronger than war, stronger than anything that tried to tear them apart. A new kind of family,